Taylor Epps joining us now. You know, something that we've talked about throughout all of this, racism, again in the spotlight today. The judge talked about it before handing down her sentence. The mayor talked about it. The DA talked about it. It's a conversation that we need to keep having.
Well, Leah, what the judge was saying today was that this isn't just something that happened on May 14th, right? This is something that was planned, calculated, written about, and live streamed for people to see. And what was really important about court today was that calling it what it was, which is white supremacy, something that is historic, deep-seated, and a part of this community and our country.
It's an ugly truth
that our nation was founded and built in part on white supremacy. We have a long way to go.
Moments before sentencing the man responsible for killing 10 black people at the Tops on Jefferson Avenue to life without parole, Judge Susan Egan took the time to analyze America's history of white supremacy, dating back to early European settlers, to the years of slavery, to redlining, and other discriminatory practices.
Many of them still firmly in place today. In fact, it is these very policies and practices that contributed to and made this atrocity possible.
She calls white supremacy a cancer on our country, a cancer that spread here to Buffalo, New York on May 14, 2022, when 10 of our neighbors were gunned down in a grocery store.
My dad, my best friend, who was snatched from this world because of something he couldn't change, the color of his skin.
Stephanie Waters had just finished a discussion about fighting racism that morning when she found out her sister was shot.
He bought into the lies of this country that somehow, because of the amount of the chemical in our skin, we are superior. We were not even the first ones here in the U.S.
But many, including Gendron's lawyers, say it's time we talk about this ugly truth outside of the courtroom.
We, as a community, need to have those conversations in our legislative bodies and in our living rooms to achieve meaningful change.
Let ours be the generation to put a stop to it. We can do better. We must do better.
And how can we do better?
We must call out injustice in our daily lives when we see it. We must reject racism in all of its forms.
And despite the ugly truths, the generational trauma, and pain, hope shines through.
You know, for a long time in America, people never thought slavery would end. A lot of people said segregation would never end in America, but people never gave up. We can defeat white supremacy too.
That was civil rights attorney Ben Crump. He's someone who talks about white supremacy all the time. But a lot of the other people you heard from just now are white people. And that's really the important part here, is that we continue this conversation. That I, standing here next to you, Leah, can have this conversation. That you at home at the dinner table tonight have this conversation, so we can all work toward being better for our future generations.
Yeah, and here we are, the year 2023, and it just makes you want to cry to think that this is a conversation that we even have to have.
Yeah, no.
You know, because we should all just care for each other no matter what.
Even if you don't know someone, right?
Yeah.
I was walking down the street here, and me and a guy were walking, and we almost were running into traffic, and we smiled at each other. We don't know each other.
Right.
A white man, a black woman just walking down the street, and that's what we should have. There should be no fear there. There should be no animosity there, but it still exists.
Yeah. All right, these conversations we're going to keep having and create change. Taylor, thank you so much.